Hey mates, how you doing? Welcome to the first episode of Den Talk, where I talk all things Brisbane Lions related. Now, I know that a lot of Lions fans are completely bummed out about the grand final loss. We played our hearts out and we came agonisingly short. Now, Lions fans can scale from 1 to 10 in terms of heartbreak. 1 is sad about it, but being able to move on. 5 is not wanting to remotely hear about the grand final. And 10 is as soon as they see a magpie, they get immediate PTSD and begin to go into a hibernation for 6 months. Can't relate. I personally rank around a 4, however, I'm trying to less dwell about that day in September and more so think about the season ahead, which is why today we'll preview the 2024 season for the mighty Brisbane town and see if they can finally hold up the cup after 21 long years of agony. So, let's get it. First up on the preview, the most obvious thing when it comes to thinking about a flag team, the list. Now, Brisbane haven't really lost any key players this off-season. I guess you could say Dender Richards one, but A, he didn't really have that good a form in 2023, and B, if you're going to use the experience and teaching the young ones argument, you're still going to continue trying to teach the young ones just as a coach, not a player. So yeah, we haven't really lost anyone. We've kept all of our grand final players. We managed to pick up Tom Duday, and Ashcroft's going to come back from his ACL injury which he unfortunately suffered in the Geelong game in round 19. And probably the biggest surprise of all, we actually kept Dev Robertson through a 2-year contract extension. And when you look at each section of our playing group, we have probably the best list we've had ever since 2019. Our forward line is the best in the comp, probably rivaled by Adelaide. Our midfield is still as mint as ever, and our defence, which was once a laughing stock, is now able to compete with top teams. Harris Andrews had an amazing year, Gideon Cohen had a really good grand final, and Jack Payne shocked the comp, had a really good breakout year. In fact, the only 2 games we missed were the prelim final and the grand final, but that was mainly because of an injury, not because of any form dips. So looking at this whole team, I reckon that we are primed for yet another top 2 finish. Our next thing up on this preview is predicting who's going to have a breakout year. In my personal opinion, the person who is going to have a massive breakout year is probably going to be Dev Robertson. Given that he turned down major interest from the Eagles, I reckon that this extension is probably going to motivate him to cement himself in the top 22. Looking at the stats, the most games that he's played were 16 games per season. 1 in 2021, I think, and 2023. Personally, I think that he's a player who has given me enough reason for me to believe that he's going to go all the way in 2024. Now, I'm aware that the midfield is already stacked with talent, so what I've done is look at his statistics. Looking at his position, he's listed as a midfielder forward. However, he's not really the type of guy to kick goals. The most that he's kicked so far was 2 goals and 1 behind against Carlton in 2021. So, yeah. So personally, I reckon that you should move him towards the defensive part of the midfield, and I reckon that that would help him have a breakout year. Now, this is just my opinion as a Lions fan, so feel free to disagree in the comments below. Another thing to look at in this preview is our fixture. Now, looking at the teams that we've played twice, all of them are top 8 teams from 2023, well, apart from Gold Coast. These 5 teams include the Giants, the Pies, the Saints, Crom, and the D's. Now, we don't get Duday until the Bulldogs game, so I think it's important to analyse our fixture until the bye. We have the Blues to begin the season, Freo at Optus, where we really struggle, the Pies at home, the Cats at home, who are still capable of pulling together good performances, the Giants at Monica, Crows away, and the Hawks away, who we haven't beaten since 2019. The only easy games here are the North and Richmond games. The Gold Coast Suns, well, no one really knows how they're going to do this year. They could either make the top 8 or, choke. And while Melbourne is in a heap of shit right now, we don't know if they're going to challenge for the top 4 again or crash. I hope they do. Even then, the fixture post-bye isn't really that easy. The only game where I can confidently say, okay, we can win this, is the Eagles game. That being said, given that we are 4 points away from winning against the Pies at the MCG, with not even the best version of our list so far, I think we can do it. The amount of games that I predicted we can drop are probably 3 to 6. However, in a season where the top 4 is going to be harder to predict than ever, we cannot afford to make mistakes like we did in the past. can't let our guard down. We have to be playing at 100%, even against North, because even when we burst them in the other round, we still were shit in the first quarter. Hopefully, I can trust the boys to get it done this season and make the top 2. Now, the last thing to look at the preview is, can they bounce back from the grand final loss? I'm unsure if the grand final loss was the thing to boost us towards a flag or the straw that broke the camel's back. I think that the best way to look at it is to see how other teams have managed to suffer with this kind of situation. Since 2000, 4 out of 6 teams who lost a close grand final made the next year's grand final. And yes, I'm including 2009 St Kilda in this. The 2 that didn't make it in the next year's grand final were Sydney in 2007, who already won a flag in 2005, and Collingwood in 2019, because it's Collingwood. Out of the teams that did make the next year's grand final, 2 won and 1 lost. The 2 that won were West Coast in 2006 and Hawthorn in 2013, and the one that lost was Collingwood in 2003, which, like, come on, you weren't beating the Lions back then. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, Capish, you said that there were 4 teams who made the next year's grand final. Why are you only mentioning 3? Well, about that other one. But it's happened! Most people say that if the extra time rule was introduced in 2010, St Kilda would have won the grand final. I agree with that. However, I'm keeping it as a draw, as we don't know if Collingwood would have won back then. So, judging from history, do I think that the Lions can bounce back? Yes. We've bounced back from straight sets, we've bounced back from prelim smackings, and as we mature as a playing group, I reckon that we can bounce back from this grand final loss and hold up the cup in that last Saturday in September. So yeah, that's my take on how the Lions will go this season. I reckon that it's finally time for us to win the damn flag. However, it's going to be harder than ever, more competitive than ever. Top 4 is going to be an absolute grind, and we can't drop games like we used to. However, I think that we have a chance, and we are ready to bounce back and take home that silverware for the 4th time. So yeah, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and Kind of Lions.